We're going to go ahead and get started. Let's make sure we've got 2 blocks, a blanket. If you want a strap, you can have a strap, but it's not necessary. And then we're going to start by coming to a tall and comfortable seat. So you might sit on one of your blocks, you might sit on a blanket. You will just take a moment to sit up tall.
Recording in progress.
Oh, Barbara, I hear an echo for some reason. There we go. I just muted you. There we go. Cool. So we'll go ahead and start. And the first thing I just want you to do is just take some wrist circles. We're going to start by moving the body just a little bit before we sit and meditate, well, or breathe. And you're just going to see how that feels, and then go the other direction with your wrist circle. And then once you've done enough going both directions, you'll start to make these slightly bigger and more awkward. So now you're getting into your elbows. Just feeling how that feels. And then switch directions, of course. Maybe the arms or the hands rather are still doing something as your elbows are awkwardly moving around. And then go back to the first direction, and now you're going to start to add your shoulders into it. So we're making more awkward circles of the wrists and the elbows and the shoulders. Okay. And this is last one, this direction, and then try to figure out how to go the other way. And that's awkward. You're like, I'm swimming. I'm doing something awkward, okay? And then once you've done the last set of that, we'll go ahead and just lower the hands onto the thighs, maybe soften the gaze or close the eyes, and then notice if you need to move the shoulders around in any way, just slowly rolling them one way or the other. Maybe you'll need to move through your ribs, feeling how maybe half a circle feels good, or a little twist, or a little rolling of the ribs, a little arching and flexing of the spine. And then notice how that connects into the head as well, and seeing if you need to roll the head or drop the chin, or just finding all the cranks and kinks. And then once you found all of that, you'll just bring yourself into a still neutral spot. And I'd like you to just take 3 or 4 breaths here. And the first few breaths that you take is just to notice how the body's breathing, how the breath is moving in and how the breath is moving out. And then we're going to start to intentionally deepen the breath. So the next time you inhale, I want you to breathe in, down, and wide. And then exhale, you'll start from the bottom, draw the air in and up. So 3 or 4 breaths like that, just drawing the breath in, down, and wide. And then you exhale, you narrow the breath, you draw it in and you draw it up. And as you find this breath pattern, you might start to begin to constrict the back of your throat and find your Ujjayi pranayama. And through our practice today, we're going to continue to come back to this breath as much as we can, this in, down, and wide, and then drawing it back in close to the spine and up. Fantastic. At the end of your next exhalation, start to lower your chin towards your chest. Allow the eyes to flutter open, and you will crawl forward onto hands and knees. Now, as you make yourself onto hands and knees, you might take a moment to set your blocks to the upper outer corners of your space. You might also bring that blanket underneath your knees. And we'll just take a moment to set ourselves up well there. Blankets under knees and shins, perhaps hands are directly underneath the shoulders, blocks towards the upper corners of your space. And then once you find yourself there, you'll find an inhale and find your cat shape. And then you'll exhale and find your cat shape. And so we did those awkward things at the beginning to articulate through the wrists, the elbows, and the shoulders. And we're going to do quite a few articulations in the upper back because we're trying to get into a few back bends. And so you're just going to feel how this feels today. And you've got 2 more sets on your own, inhaling and exhaling through your cows and through your cats. Nice work. On your next inhalation, let's go ahead and find ourselves in a neutral spine. Keep your knees exactly as they are. Walk your left hand forward about a foot. Full actual 12 inches. There we go. Walk your right hand forward to meet it. So actual 12 inches. I want you to push your hands down and forward. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears. Draw the shoulder blades down to the back. And then see if you can start to melt your face your chest, your nose, all the way to the floor, keeping the back of the neck long. And we'll take 3 or 4 breaths here. Again, pushing the hands down and forward, lifting up through your happy inner armpits and sliding your hips back. And you're just noticing how this feels in the body and in the breath. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward, start to walk your hands back underneath you, and then take 2 more cats and cows just to notice what impact or effect that articulation of the spine had on how well you were able to move through the spine through these sequences. Nice work. On your next inhalation, let's go ahead and come to a neutral position. Inhale, reach your right arm out, parallel to the floor. Now listen very closely. As you exhale, thread the right hand underneath, bend the left elbow. Don't let the right elbow, shoulder, arm touch the floor. And then inhale, come back up. We're going to do that 5 times. So our right hand never touches the floor. Our right shoulder never touches the floor, but it inches all the way to the left. Yep. And we're coming up. And this is number 3, exhaling, reaching underneath yourself. Inhaling, coming back up. Number 4, exhaling, reaching underneath yourself. Inhale, coming back up. This time we'll stay. Exhale, reaching underneath yourself. Go ahead and lower the right arm and hand down. Reposition the left hand if you need to. Draw your chin to your chest just a smidge. And then you're going to breathe here for about 3 breath cycles, drawing both hips back evenly. So most of you will, have to draw that left hip back just a smidge. And you just pause and you breathe. And push into the back of your right shoulder and arm and see what you feel in the back of the right shoulder blade. Nice work. On your next inhalation, replant your left palm, reach your right arm up towards the sky if you have more rotation, and then exhale, lower the hand down. Take a series of cats and cows here, so just 2, and just notice how this feels. We're just trying to warm up the spine by giving it movement. Nice job. The next time you inhale, go ahead and come to a neutral spine. Root into the right hand, reach the left arm out to the left. And then exhale, carve it underneath you. Don't let the left fingers touch the floor, shoulders touch the floor. Inhale, coming out, reaching the left arm up. And then exhale, threading under. Inhale, coming up. Number 3. Exhale, going underneath, toning the belly as you go. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, number 4. And last time, inhale, coming up. And exhale, number 5. Go ahead and lower the left shoulder and shoulder and arm to the floor. Reposition that right hand if you need to. Draw the chin to your chest. And then hug your outer right hip back as you push the whole left palm, arm, back of shoulder in the floor, and just breathe. Fantastic. Go ahead and root into your right hand. Inhale, unwind the left up to the sky. And then exhale, plant the hand right next to the right. And then 2 more cats and cows. And you're just noticing what this feels like as we're going through the spine, finding a little bit more articulation and lubrication. Nice work. All right, the next inhale, let's go ahead and come to neutral. This is going to be weird. I want you to curl your toes under just a little bit, and you're going to push your butt back to your heels. And I want you to feel how activated your arms become, and then keep that activation and come forward. Now, draw your low belly in, and then just bend your right foot, and you're going to start to circle your right ankle, or bend your right knee and circle your right ankle. And you're going to see that feels kind of awkward. And then go the other direction with that right ankle. Keeping the belly toned, the arms engaged. Okay. And then go ahead and release that foot to the floor. Curl your toes under, shift your bum back. And again, we're like pouncing little cheetahs. Keep the arms engaged, shift your weight forward. Draw the low belly in, and then bend your left knee. And again, we're keeping the core engaged as we're circling that left ankle. And you're making sure you go both directions. So switch directions if you have it. And are you breathing? Fantastic. Go ahead and release. Shift your weight back, little pouncing position. This time you're going to come forward and hover your knees for about 3 seconds. So for 3, for 2, for 1, lower your knees down. Squeeze your right heel to your right butt. Lift your right thigh parallel to the floor. Take a breath in here. And again, pushing down through those hands, pulling up through the core. As you exhale, the right knee comes underneath you. And then it goes out to the right. And then you inhale it up behind you and turn it parallel. And then exhale, it comes underneath you. It goes out to the right. It goes up and back behind you. And then you got 2 more of those on your own. So the exhale draws it in. The inhale is what draws it up and rotates it to neutral. Squeeze your heel to your glute. Yep, so we can engage the backs of our legs a lot. Awesome. This should be our 4th one. The next time that right leg is up and behind you, parallel-ish to the floor, we're going to pause. And then we're going to do all that the other direction. So you're going to, I know, inhale out to the right, drawing it down, and then sending it back up. And so you exhale, drawing that knee underneath you. Inhale it back up. And see if your head is careened to the floor. Yep. Or if you could keep it in line with your spine. I think this should be number 3. And maybe I'm not counting, and this should be number 4. So the next time your right leg is up and back behind you, you're gonna pause. Go ahead and straighten your right leg along. Kick that foot back and make sure it's parallel to the floor. So dial that outer foot, outer pinky toe down. And you might stay there, or you might reach your left arm forward for 3. For 2, tailbone lengthens back. For 1, exhale, lower down, hand and knee, take a cat and a cow, and just notice how that feels. And so those at home couldn't hear Sandy saying, that was not sneaky core work, and then Roberta's warmed up. It was butt work, and it wasn't sneaky. It started sneaky, and then it didn't. So after you've done your 2 cats and cows, you'll come back to neutral. And we'll try all that on the other side. So first things first, curl your toes under, sit your butt back towards your heels. Really energize your arms like happy little tigers. Like if I wanted you to jump your feet to your hands, you could come forward. Hover your knees off the floor for just a bit. Home low belly. Fantastic. Then lower your knees gently to the floor. Squeeze your left heel to your left glute. Lift your left thigh parallel-ish to the floor. And then on your next exhale, that left knee comes underneath you. And then it goes out to the left. And inhale, it comes up and back behind you. Awesome sauce. And you've got 4 of these. So you're just working with your breath. And the slower you move, ironically enough, the more strength you're building in your body. So you do that. And the more you breathe, the more efficient your body can work. So that's good too. Okay. I think this is number 3. I'm glad you're counting, Roberta, because I was not. This should probably be number 4. You what? I know, that's probably so sad. And then the next time you're up and back, we'll pause there. And then we're going to reverse that. So then you'll inhale out to the left and down and then back up. And you want to keep squeezing your heel to your glute as much as you possibly can. And your hips are probably like, oh gosh. Is it? I thought we had one more. Okay. So the next time you are up and back with that left leg, you're going to pause there. You're going to send that left leg back behind you, kicking the floor away, drawing the low belly in. You might stay there with both hands down. You might reach your right arm forward, and we'll breathe for 3. Lengthen your tailbone back for 2. Yep. For 1. Exhale, lower down, hands and knees. Cats and cows 2 times. And you'll just notice how that feels, how the body's working, how the breath is working, how you're working. Fantastic. And then let's go ahead and find ourselves back into a neutral position. And now this time we're going to walk our right hand forward about 12 inches. Walk your left hand forward about 12 inches. If you have your mat, you might grab the outer corners of your mat and pull it wide, and then allow your outer shoulder blades to drop towards the floor as your forehead drops towards the floor. And then you want to see if you can breathe here for 3, breathe here for 2, and breathe here for 1. Nice job. If you're holding the mat, gently release it. Plant your hands on the mat. Walk your hands back towards you. And then curl your toes under, hover your low knees off the floor, and then push yourself back to a downward facing dog with your knees super bent. And we're going to keep that blanket there for a little bit. And with your knees bent, I want you to slowly pedal through your legs, bending one knee and then the other. And you'll notice that we did all that stuff to start to warm up the upper part of your body. So maybe your shoulders actually feel pretty good now. And then you're like, wow, legs, you're really tight. And so if that's what you're noticing, great. Can you breathe and feel how that feels to just be in your body? And then some of you might try drawing a bend into both knees and then sending your hips to the left and feeling a stretch happen on your right side body. And you just pause and you breathe there. And after you've had 1 or 2 breath cycles there, you come through center, you bend in the knees and then draw your hips to the other side, so maybe to the right, and feeling a stretch in the left side of the body. And then you'll inhale and come back through center. And then very gently, you'll start to walk your feet towards your face. And when you get to the top of your space, you'll pause there. Separate your feet about hip distance apart. And notice if you can just let your spine be super heavy, like let the head be super heavy and find that length through the back of the spine. And some of you may choose to grab opposite elbows. Some of you may grab the back of your head. Some of you may just really want to feel a connection of having your hands on the floor or the blocks to close that circuit, but just feel what that feels like for you. And then very mindfully, whatever variation you've taken, let's come out of that. And then we'll inhale, reach your heart and sternum forward. And you can start with fingertips on the floor and see how that feels. You might draw fingertips to your shins. You might draw fingertips to your blocks, but you want to see if you can make your spine as long as it possibly can be. Fantastic. So you'll draw your shoulder blades away from the ears and onto the back. You'll reach your little turtle heads out of your turtle shells. Yeah. You'll push your hands into your shins and your shins into your hands so that you feel some of your weight shift forward. And then you'll notice if you can draw that low belly in. And then see if you stopped breathing. And if so, please come back to that. Tuck your chin to your chest just slightly. There you go. Now, one at a time, draw one hand to one hip and then the other hand to the other hip. Bend your knees, lead with the chest and come up to stand. Fantastic. Now, if you're dizzy at all, you lower your chin to your chest a little bit, lift your heart up. And then once you are stabilized, look down and grab your block. From here, we're going to put our block into our inner upper thighs, and you put it at whatever setting works for you. And then we ideally want to have our feet hip distance apart, but mine feel better when they're closer. So you do whatever works for you. Now I want you to first hug that block in with your inner thighs, hug your outer hips into the block, and then inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. From here, turn your left palm to face the sky, grab your left wrist. That was beautiful, Sandy. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, we're going to take a little side bend to the right. Now, as we go to the right, keep your inner right thigh coming back. Yep. And then you can draw your outer left hip forward. And then your outer right ribs forward. And you just pause. Yeah. And then squeeze that block and breathe for 3. And breathe for 2. Keep pushing into your left foot for 1. Yeah. Inhale, come all the way up to center. As you exhale, turn your right palm to the sky, grab your right wrist, hug your blocks, and then inhale, reach up and exhale over to the left. And again, we want to hug our outer right hip forward, inner left thigh back, root into our right foot, and then draw our left ribs forward and under. Yeah. Next inhalation, go ahead and come up through center. And then exhale, release your hands. Fantastic. You're going to keep your block there for a moment. Wiggle out anything if you need to. And then we're going to add on. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana. Now, as less awkwardly as you can, slide that block down in between your shin bones on its second setting. Plant your fingertips on the floor. Inhale, bend your knees a lot as though you wanted to touch your butt to your heels. From there, sweep your arms back, draw your shoulder blades together on your back, and lift your heart up. Fantastic option to stay there, or sweep your arms forward, or sweep your arms up. And we'll breathe for 3. You're squeezing your block for dear life for 2. You're reaching up through your pinky fingers for 1. Nice job. On your next exhalation, hands come forward. Release your fingertips to the floor. Release your block. And then plant both blocks to the upper tallest setting at the top of your space. Go ahead and bend your knees and step your right foot long and back. So hands on blocks, right foot back. Yeah, all right. Now, if you need to adjust your right foot forward just a little bit so you have a long enough lunge for you, you do that. First things first, push into your left foot, push into your right foot. Suck those 2 points together, and then see if you can come to the fingertips on your blocks. Great. Sweep the hands back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and bring your chest up. Now, for most of us, we're going to bring our hands to our hips. Some of you can do this. Some of you can do this. I'm going to be here personally. You're going to take a big breath in. You're going to shift your weight forward a little bit on that back foot. You're going to bend that back knee. We're going to come up. We've got 5 of these as we make grimaces to me the whole time. Yes, I know. I'm so sorry, Jenny. And we're just pausing, we're breathing, pausing, we're breathing, pausing, breathing, grimacing the whole time. Yay! The next time that right knee touches, you're going to pause. Lower the right knee all the way down. Push down into your left foot, push down into your right knee. Step those points together until you feel a fun stretch coming across the front of your right thigh. You might stay there. You might reach up through that right arm. You might take a little happy side bend to the left where you're pausing and you're breathing, you're pausing and you're breathing. Nice job. Inhale, come back up to center. As you exhale, both hands come back to your blocks. Straighten your back leg long. Now listen closely. Bend that back knee and pounce to the top of your space. Yay! Okay, inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, we got the other side. So bend your knees, plant your hands on your blocks, step your left leg long and back. Fantastic. Now, notice if you need to readjust your front foot, your right foot, push down into your right foot, push down into your left foot, start to make your hands lighter on the blocks, and then start to bring your spine up to center. So maybe the hands are just floating, maybe hands are on the hips. We're gonna pause here. Oh, and you do have the option of being up but overhead if that's where you were the first time. And then we're just gonna bend and lower that back knee. And it's like our left knee is lightly kissing the blanket. It's not like a collision. It's like, oh, a little tap. And we're seeing how our legs are doing. And we're doing great. Nice job, and wobbles are okay. The next time that left knee touches the floor, we're gonna leave it there. Push down into back knee, push down into front foot. Suck those points together until you feel a fun stretch on the front of your left thigh. Maybe stay here. Maybe you reach up. Maybe you're happy as a clam here. Maybe you take a little side bend to your right. But we're keeping our legs engaged. We're breathing deeply. We're finding our breath. Nice job. Next inhale, if you took the side bend, come up to center. Exhale, both hands to blocks. Curl the back toes under if they're not. Straighten the back leg long. Bend the back knee and pounce. Yay! Okay. From here, inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, fold all the way back in. Now we're going to come back up to stand. Inhale, reach your heart and sternum forward. As you exhale, push your fingers into your shins into your fingers. See if you can blossom your buttocks behind you. Happy little butt. And then one hand to one hip, the other hand to the other hip. Draw the shoulder blades together on your back. Reach your head out of your spine. Yep. Bend your knees and then come up to stand. Fantastic. If you're feeling dizzy, chin comes to chest, chest lifts the chin. Fantastic. Open the eyes if they shut. Grab your block once again. Put it between your inner upper thighs. Cool. And let's move on. From here, we're going to inhale, sweep our arms up and overhead. We went to the left the first time, right? Okay, so we're going to bend our left elbow, grab our left elbow with our right hand. Now I want you to, again, squeeze into your block with your inner thighs, hug your outer hips in, and see if you can lengthen tailbone down, pubic bone up. Now, take a little side bend to the right. And then notice if you can draw your right ribs forward, your outer left hip back, and you just breathe into your right side body, trying to make it as lateral as possible. And then inhale, come up to center. Exhale, release the hands. Shake it out in any way that feels good to you. I like that. And then we're going to turn on the other side. So inhale, sweep the arms up. Bend the right elbow. Grab the right elbow with the left hand. Push the right elbow to the right. And then again, engage the legs first. Squeeze the block. Root down. And then little side bend to the left. And you're just pausing. See if you can draw your head back. Yeah. Nice work. Are you breathing? Nice. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, release the hands down. Shake and wiggle it out in any way that you need to. Okay. And then last set of this. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward to your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Slide your block down so it's in between your shin bones once again. Inhale, heart and sternum reach forward. Exhale, fold all the way in. And then inhale, bend your knees, sit your butt super low, Utkatasana, chair pose. And we'll just breathe here for about 3 to 5 breaths. And you're just noticing what that feels like. We've got the back a little bit more open, the legs are open. And are you breathing? No. Fantastic. Next exhale, hands come down to the floor. Release your block. And then from here, I want you to bend your knees as much as you need to plant your palms firmly on your mat. Bend your knees as much as you need to plant your palms firmly on the mat. Now straighten your arms as much as you can. And then step your right leg back, low lunge. Step your left leg back, plank pose. Ha-ha! And you're going to breathe here for 3. You're going to breathe here for 2. You're going to breathe here for 1. Next in breath, shift your weight forward. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your abdomen. Extend the tops of the feet onto the floor when you get there. Press down into your hands. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears. And then pull your heart and sternum as far forward as you want to for cobra pose. So toes are long, legs are engaged, arms are pressing, shoulders are engaged. Nice job. Next exhale, lower all the way back down. Roll your toes under. Inhale, come up through hands and knees. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. We're going to do 2 Surya Namaskaras. So back to downward facing dog. And that blanket's going to stay there, or you can kick it off, but we'll come back to it at some point. And you'll just pause, and you'll breathe, and you'll pause, and you'll breathe. And then at the end of your next exhalation, you'll inhale, rise to the tops of your feet, balls of your feet. And then exhale, bend your knees and step or float. Aha! Top of space, look at that. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, bend your knees, sit low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Take 3 breath cycles here. The end of your 3rd exhalation, you will inhale, stand up, reach up, up. And then exhale, lower the hands down alongside your hips. Okay, last Surya. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold at the hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your heart and sternum forward. As you exhale, plant your palms, keep your arms straight. Step your left leg back, step your right leg back, plank pose. Pause for 3. Keep breathing in for 2. Keep breathing out for 1. Next inhalation, shift your weight forward, and exhale, lower all the way down. Nice job. As you're ready, you'll inhale and draw your heart forward and through for cobra pose. Nice active legs. Good job, guys. And exhale, lower all the way down. Curl your toes under. Inhale through hands and knees or plank. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Just notice what you notice and how the breath is feeling, how the body is feeling, how you're feeling. All right. Inhale, come to the balls of your feet. As you exhale, bend the knees, empty the belly, step or float, top of space. Nice work. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold all the way in Uttanasana. Inhale, sit, Utkatasana, chair pose. We'll breathe for 3. We'll breathe for 2. We'll breathe for 1. Inhale, stand up, reach up, look up. And exhale, lower the hands alongside the hips. Okay, moving on. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, hands to blocks. Exhale, bend your knees. Step your left leg long and back. Pause. Push down into your right foot. Push down into your left foot. Make your fingertips light. Draw your low belly in. Next inhalation, come up to a high crescent lunge. Either hands are alongside your hips or hands are up and overhead. And you're just going to pause and you're going to breathe here. Now, for our next transition, I would encourage hands to come to hips, but you do whatever you want. You'll take a big breath in. As you exhale, you'll bend your back knee, and then you'll pounce to the top of your space. Ha-ha! Start to bend your right leg. Cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh, and you'll start to hinge forward at your hips. And so hands can come to heart center here. Hands can also come to those blocks right underneath us. But if your hands do go to your blocks, you can push your left shin into the back of your left elbow as you push your left foot into your right hand and lift your outer left hip up to find a crazy stretch. Oh, in that left hip, bend your right knee a lot. Fantastic. If hands came to blocks, start to make the hands light. Then start to draw hands back to heart center. Then start to push down into that right foot, draw the left leg up. Oh, fantastic. And then release that left foot next to the right. And oh, shake that out, shake that out, shake that out. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, all right. Well, you got a whole other side, so let's hope so. Here we go. Inhale, circle with the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, hands to blocks, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, step your right leg long and back. Fantastic. Now, same thing we did the first time, push into your left foot, push into your right foot. Start to make your fingertips light. And then when you're ready, you inhale and come up to high crescent lunge. Hands can be up, hands can be at your hips. You'll take a big breath in. And if you did so on the first time, hands come back to your hips. You'll bend that right knee, you'll pounce. Woo! Up to the top of your space. And then from there, you'll start to bend your left knee, cross that right ankle over. Hands might now come to heart center. Push your sternum forward, send your pelvis back, and keep bending into that left knee. Maybe hands reach for those blocks underneath you. And maybe you push your right shin into your right arm, your right foot into your left hand. And you bend your left knee and you pause and you breathe. Nice work. If the hands were on the block, start to make them light. Draw the hands back to heart center. Root down into your left foot. Right leg, whoa, floats up. And then release the right foot down. Shake that out. Shake that out. Shake that out. Cool. All right, we got a few more things up our trip. Cool. If your blocks are in your mat, I highly encourage you to move them off your mat for this next bit. Great. Let's add on. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your knees. Plant your palms on the mat. Keep your arms straight. Step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. Plank pose. Inhale, shift your weight forward, and then exhale, lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. Yeah, that looks nice. Inhale into your cobra pose, so pelvis stays on the floor, legs are super active, arms are active. Yeah. Exhale, lower down. And then inhale, come through hands and knees or plank, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Now this down dog, I want you to see if you can bend your knees. And then as awkward as this is, you're gonna walk your feet to the outer edges of your mat. So they still stay in your down dog, but you walk them there and then you push your hands down and forward. You lift up through your happy inner armpits and then see if you can draw your outer hips back. Yeah, fantastic. Now, next awkward shape, you're gonna pretend you're elephants for some reason. And you're gonna slowly walk your elephant hands back to your elephant feet. And I don't know why it feels like an elephant to me, but it just feels like it's swaying. And you'll notice that the slower you work your way through that, the more crazy sensations you feel in your hips and legs. you do that for you and you walk yourself back to a wide-legged forward fold at the back of your space. And then when you get there, notice if you want to grab opposite elbow. Notice if you want to sway. Notice if you want to grab the back of your head, but you're just being in your body. You're being in your breath. You're being with you. Yeah. And those that are in movement, go ahead and come to stillness. Let's slide our hands up our shin bones like happy little football players. Okay, and then I want you to push your fingers into your shins, the fingertips into shins, shins into fingertips, blossom your buttocks back. Draw the shoulder, there you go, shoulder blades onto your back and reach your heart forward. Now bring one hand to its corresponding hip, other hand to its corresponding hip. Start to bend your knees and then bring your spine up to vertical. Okay, now this is where the strap is optional. If you have a strap, you might want it. If you don't need a strap, you don't need a strap. But you're going to interlace your hands at your back. You're going to draw your shoulders up toward your ears, shoulder blades together on your back, and you're going to reach your arms down and away from you. Now notice if your head decided to jut forward when you did that, or see if you can keep it in alignment. And then you're going to lift heart up, push wide onto your feet, and then start to hinge forward. And we're going to go about halfway and see how that's feeling for us. And then if you feel a little bit more comfortable, you might go all the way, letting the head drip towards the floor, and then still hugging the shoulder blades together on the back. And then the arms might reach up and away from the pelvis and up and over your head. And then notice what it feels like to keep the heels of your hands touching versus heels of the hands away. And you're just paying attention to what that feels like for you. Nice work. And then gently draw the hands back to your bum, slide them down the legs and to the floor. Fantastic. Now, let's walk our right hand underneath our face. Now, push down into your right fingertips to have uncle or cousin it or thing hands, so there's lift there. Draw your left hand to the back of your left hip. Reach your heart forward so your spine is parallel-ish to the floor. So now you're really that football player. Now push down into the right hand, push down into the left foot, start to roll your rib cage to the left. Draw the shoulder blades together on the back. Yeah, there you go. And keep pushing down into right hand, left foot, ribs towards the left. Fantastic. And some of you will stay there. Some of you will reach up through your left arm. But you're just finding this crazy stretch that's happening in the back of the shoulder blades for 3, for 2, and for 1. Gently lower the left hand down to the floor. Notice what it feels like to be centered. And then we'll try that on the other side. So left hand underneath your face, right hand on your bum. Push down into the fingertips so the whole left arm is straight. Heel of the hand lifts away from the floor. Spine is parallel-ish to the floor. And then start to rotate your rib cage towards the right. Keep pulling isometrically the left hand back. And it gives you some sensation happening on the back of your left shoulder blade. And then you might stay there, or you might reach up through your top arm. And you pause and you breathe for 3. You pause and you breathe for 2. You pause and you breathe for 1. Nice job. Gently release the hand back down to the floor. Bend your knees and crawl yourself forward into a downward facing dog, keeping your feet wide. Now, next awkward shape. Keep crawling yourself forward into a plank pose. Feet stay wide. Oh, I know. Ah, now you're going to do a GI Jane, or what I call a GI Jane. So you're going to step your right foot into your midline. Oh, that was clear as mud. And then step your left foot into your midline. And then step your left foot out and your right foot out. Yeah, and you got 2 of those. So you're just creating an X, opening the legs, closing the legs, opening the legs, closing the legs, opening the legs, closing the legs. I know, I can't count. Remember, Roberta? The next time your feet are parallel, shift your weight forward and lower all the way down to your abdomen. You're right. Can't or don't is a good question. Now from here, we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So slide your forearms underneath you. And just as a momentary reprieve, I want you to spread wide through your hands. Draw your right ear over to your right shoulder. Push down into your left hand and isometrically pull that back. Maybe you open and close your mouth a few times, finding a nice stretch on the left side of your neck. Keep your legs active. And then inhale, come back through center. We'll try that on the other side. So left ear drops to the left shoulder, push down to right hand, isometrically draw it back. And then maybe you open and close your mouth a few times, finding a stretch on that side. All right, let's inhale, come back to center. Little break time's over. Now, I want you to push down into your hands, and we're going to take cats and cows here. So you're going to inhale, and exhale, you're going to peek underneath yourself and see if you can look at your knees. Aha! And then inhale and come back up. Exhale, look under, see if you can see your knees. So your hips will have to move out of the way. Yeah. Yep, this is so core work and not even sneaky about it. Well, it kind of was. And then exhale and roll under. Look at your knees. You have to lift your hips to see your knees. So I don't know, just like kind of sneaky core work. Who knows? All right, this is our last time. When you look underneath, you're going to hold there for 3 breath cycles. Push down through your forearms, scoop your core up, lift your tailbone down, or reach your tailbone down for 2. For 1, awesome. Sauce gently lower down. Hooray! And you might shimmy your hips a little bit because sometimes that feels good. And we're not done here yet. So we're going to take this right hand and travel it to meet the left. You're going to bend your left knee. You're going to reach back with your left hand and grab your left foot. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is try to draw your left heel towards your left butt. Yay, fantastic. If you can, see if your fingertips can spin to face the same direction as your toes. If they can't, no worries. Let's push down into our right foot. Push down into your right hand. Draw your low belly in and lengthen your tailbone down. You have to externally rotate the whole shoulder. It's like you have really flexible shoulders. Yeah, that's okay. And then you push down and see if you can lengthen your tailbone back and find a nice quad stretch happening on the left quad. And then we'll gently release that. And we're going to stay here for a moment though. So keep holding onto that right foot. And I want you to energize your left foot and see if you can kick your left foot back. And notice how that allows you to lift your chest a little higher. And you might now feel a stretch happening on that left arm. Fantastic. Gently release that. Come back to forearms. And no rest for the mighty. So back to forearms. And you've got your little sneaky core work again. So you're going to exhale and look underneath. I know, I'm sorry. I just was like, Laura asked for core work a few weeks ago. So I was like, well, here we go. Well, all right. And we got 4 of these. So Laura, everyone over here is saying very much thank you so much for having us do this today. And the next time you round under, you're going to pause and you're going to breathe for 3. You're going to breathe for 2. Keep pulling the low belly up for 1. There you go. And then exhale, lower down, pelvis back to the floor. And we have the whole other side to do. So this time our left hand is going to visit our right hand. You're going to bend your right knee, reach around with your right hand, grab your right foot. Now, before you go anywhere, make sure your left leg is strong and long. So push the top of the foot down, push down into your left arm, lengthen your tailbone down, and then see if you can draw your right heel and hip towards each other. If the hand can spin so fingertips face the same direction, great. If not, no worries. And you breathe for 3. You breathe for 2. You breathe for 1. Gently release that. So holding onto your foot, kick your right foot away from you, push down into the left hand, left forearm, and see if you can lift the chest a little higher. Nice work. Very mindfully release that. Last non-sneaky core work. So forearms down. And then exhale, round underneath. So this is just to stabilize our low back. So sometimes when we do back bends, it can really impact the spine, but core work helps stabilize. So that's all we're doing. And you're doing 4 of these. And if you want to make it harder, you can lift your knees away from the floor. Maybe see if you can see your toes. If you're like, Jessica, I don't want to do that, that's fine too. This last one we'll hold for 3. We'll hold for 2. We'll hold for 1. Lower the pelvis down. Lower the spine down. Now you get to rest. Hooray! And you may shimmy your pelvis around a little bit from right to left. You might say, hey, no way, I'm done. And then last 2 breath cycles here. And you're just feeling all the aliveness in your body, all the vibrancy, all the energy. All right. Bring your forehead back to the center of your mat. Extend your arms alongside your hips. Make sure your palms face into your spine, or rather into your pelvis, so palms face in. And then when you're ready, you'll draw your shoulders so arms are alongside your hips. There we go. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears. Draw your shoulder blades together on your back. Root down through your pubic bone. Reach out through your legs. And when you're ready, inhale, come up to locust pose, Shalabhasana. And you breathe for 3. You breathe for 2. You breathe for 1. Nice job. Exhale, lower all the way down. Plant your hands alongside your lowest ribs. Now, I want you to energize your legs. Draw the shoulders up towards the ears. Draw the shoulder blades together on the back. Lift your ears in line with your shoulders. And hover there for a moment and slide your hands back just about an inch or 2. On your next in-breath, energize your legs. As you exhale, energize your core. And then inhale, rock up to upward facing dog. So the pelvis lifts, the arms are straight. Hooray, look at that. And the tailbone lengthens down. And you just notice how much more open the chest feels. Nice. And then when you're ready, make your way back to downward facing dog. How'd that feel? I mean, it looks pretty. Felt okay? Okay. Now you just pause once you get back to downward facing dog. And you notice what you notice while I check on the people at home. All right, now we're gonna try to add all that crazy stuff together and see how it goes. All right, next inhalation, sweep your right leg up and back. First one of these we've done. Exhale, step your right knee to your nose and then plant the right foot between your hands. Fantastic. Once you're there, bring your hands to your blocks if you'd like. Push down into your right foot, push down into your left foot, make your hands super light. Awesome. Draw the low belly in, and I just realized I wanted to do something else, but we're going to do it here. So sweep your arms back, and we'll see how this goes. Cool. Now arms can reach up and overhead if you'd like, or they cannot. Cool. On your next exhale, you're going to take a slight bend in the back knee. Inhale, pounce to the top of your space. Nice work. Start to bend your right knee, cross the left ankle over the top of the hands, over the top of the thighs. Hands come through heart center and start to hinge at your hips. And now you might reach your elbows towards that inner left knee and left ankle. You might reach your hands to the blocks or the floor beneath you, but you'll just take a few breath cycles here, feeling how this feels. Nice job. Very mindfully, we're going to come back up, loading our left leg parallel-ish to the floor. Now you're going to bend that left knee and try to draw your heel to your butt as much as you can. Then draw your left hand to your left foot, right hand to your right hip. Now you can stay right there, or you might reach your right arm forward. Now the first thing you're going to do is just engage the leg and maybe kick it back. And you might stay completely vertical. You might start to tip at your hips, but you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're pausing and you're breathing. Nice job. Very gently, we're going to come back up. Come forward with that left leg, hands to heart center. Now bend the right knee, slide the left foot back and make your way back to your high crescent lunge. Yay, we did it! And exhale, hands down to the mat. Step yourself back to plank pose. Inhale through upward facing dog and exhale back through downward facing dog. And you just pause and you breathe and you just notice how that feels. We haven't done those shapes in a while. So we're going to do it one more time at the wall. Let's see how it goes. Okay, as you're ready, let's try the other side. So inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. As you exhale, left knee to nose. Plant your left foot between your hands, and then maybe bring your hands to your blocks. Root down into your feet. So push down into right foot and left foot. And then when you feel stable there, you can inhale and bring yourself up for high crescent lunge. And then notice if you're breathing. Notice if that's happening. When you're ready, you'll exhale, bend the back knee, pounce to the top of your space. Great. Start to bend your left knee, cross the right ankle over the top of the thigh, and hands come to heart center. Now elbows might reach towards that inner right calf and inner right ankle. Fingers might come down to the floors or the blocks beneath you, floor or block beneath you. And then you keep bending into that left knee, finding a fun stretch on that outer right hip. Nice work. Very mindfully, make the hands lighter. Inhale, come back up, loading that right leg. Draw your right leg behind you, squeezing heel to hip. Draw right hand to right hip, heel, left hand to left hip. And you might stay there. You might reach your left arm forward. And then you might start to kick your right leg back. You might tip at your hips a little bit, but you pause and you breathe. Nice work. And then very gently come back up, right leg in front of you. Then you're going to bend your left knee, thread the right leg back. Inhale, sweep your arms up, high crescent lunge. Exhale, plant the palms on the mat. Step back to plank pose. Cycle through an up dog or cobra. And then you rest for a few breaths in child's pose before we try that off the wall. And you just pause and you breathe. You pause and you breathe. You pause and you breathe. Nice job. We'll go ahead and come back up to sit. Do we want to try that again or are we good? We can or we're good? We're like done. Okay. So we'll try it at the wall and you'll basically just do that whole last sequence, but facing the wall. The only benefit that really happens to it is then when you come to dancer pose, you can find that you can actually perhaps lift a little higher because you compress into the wall. And then when you're going back to figure four, it gives you. And you could try that. So if you want to try it in the center, you can. The wall gives you a little bit more leverage, so it feels interesting. So we'll go there if that's what you want to do. And Sandy said that looks painful. So people at home, if that was your, I would take your mat with you. And you'll set yourselves up so you're facing the walls. And then you'll make your way back to downward facing dog. And Julie, you can always just start standing from high crescent lunge. Okay. So from downward facing dog, inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. As you exhale, step that right foot between your hands. Now, push down into your feet, get really strong through your legs, hug them together, and then inhale, come up for high crescent lunge. Nice work. Now, because the wall's there, be mindful, bend your back knee and pounce to the top of your space. Yeah. Go ahead and put your hands on the wall now. Bend your right leg, start to send your butt straight back. And if you can, see how wide you can keep your upper back. So still like you're in that Anahatasana shape. So really expressive through the upper arms and sending your butt back. And I'm on the wrong leg from you guys. All right. And then as you're ready, yeah, I know my butt's all the way away from you. So those of you that are at home, if your hands are at the wall, you're trying to take that Anahatasana shape. So arms are a little higher than your head. Great. And then you'll gently come out of this, still hands walking up the wall, fingertips on the wall. Draw your left knee closer to your chest and squeeze your left heel and draw your left heel as close to your butt as possible. Swim your left leg back to grab your left foot. And then the first thing that you're going to do is not tip forward, but you're going to kick your foot back and away from you. Now you'll notice that from here, you can then start to kick your leg even further back. And you might start to walk your arm up the wall as you tip your pelvis forward. And you'll just find a nice little dancer stretch happening there. Nice job. And then very gently, you'll come back out of that. Come back to that one-legged Tadasana leg in front of you. Bend the supporting leg and then step your left leg long and back. High crescent lunge. Fantastic. Next exhale, hands come to the mat. Step yourself back to downward facing dog. Cycle through an up dog or cobra if you'd like or not. It's totally up to you. Nice. That's good, Julie. Nice, Barbara. And then when you're ready, we'll try all this on the other side. So as you're ready, inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Exhale, step your left foot between your hands. Find the weight in your feet first, and then when you feel firm and stable, inhale, come all the way up to vertical, high crescent lunge. Nice job, Lauren. Nice job, Barbara. Fantastic. Then little bend into the back knee, pounce to the top of your space, one-legged Tadasana. Float that leg up. Yeah, good job, Barbara. Good job, Julie. As you're ready, start to bend the supporting leg, left leg, cross the right ankle over the top of that left thigh. Send your pelvis back, walk your hands up the wall, and keep flexing through that right foot. Then you lift your right butt up. There you go. Now push both butt cheeks back to me. Reach your heart towards the window and walk your hands up the wall. There we go. And then very gently, you'll return to one-legged Tadasana. That looks good, Barbara. Start to bend your right knee. Draw your heel towards your hip. Nice work, Roberta. Now keep kicking your foot away from your hand as you pull your hand into your foot. And then you can tip at your hips as you walk your hands up. Nice adjustment there, Jenny. Yeah, Roberta, good job. And keep drawing low belly in. Does that feel different? Feel okay? Are you breathing? Slight bend too. There you go. And then gently you'll come out of this, coming back to that one-legged Tadasana. Bend your supporting leg, step that right leg long and back, high crescent lunge. Mindfully plant the hands to the floor, low lunge. Step yourself back, plank pose, cycle through or not. And then we'll all meet in child's pose and we'll just rest there. Nice work. That was hard, guys. Good job. You've got a few breaths in child's pose. And then when you feel like you've had enough breaths in child's pose, you're going to come up and sit in toe squat or Vajrasana or any seated pose, but you'll come up to sit when you're ready. So come to sit either in toe squat or Vajrasana, so shins are parallel. And you just close your eyes and rest there for a few breaths and you notice what that feels like. I've still been reading this book by James Nestor called Breath, and I'm now at the section where he's talking about doing things that intentionally like stress us so that we can build the capacity to be able to cope with things that are stressful. And so I kind of thought that's what we were doing today, and I think you guys did great. And then when you're ready, if you were in toe squat, come forward, pitter patter the tops of the toes, maybe take a counter stretch if you'd like. It is a really good book. I like the way that he writes. I like the fact that he introduces like there's science and there's yogic philosophy and then there's all this other crazy stuff that you've heard, well, that I've heard about. I'm like, oh, good job, man. You integrated this very well. Okay. And then after you've done that, if you want to reposition your mats towards the center of the space, you can. If you're happy where you are, that's good. But we're going to take our last few shapes to end. So first thing is you're going to bring your legs in front of you, your hands back behind you, and then we'll bend our knees one at a time. Walk your feet to the outer edges of your space and slowly windshield wiper your legs one way and then the other. Well, as slow as that was, is as slow as you're supposed to be moving. So you do that. You're just feeling the internal and then the external rotation of your thighs. Oh, you actually have some internal rotation, Sandy. Okay, and then once you're complete, meaning you're even between both sides, you'll come to center. And then some of you might want to sit on the edge of your blanket and extend your legs long in front of you. And we're gonna remove any flesh from underneath so that our legs can be as neutral as possible. I don't think we'll need our blocks for this, but we'll see. I want you to sit as tall as possible, so heart over belly. Then we're going to start to hinge forward at our hips, reaching forward towards our toes. And maybe you grab your calves, maybe you grab your feet. But the focus is more on having your spine as long as it can be. So super straight. So if the hands need to be back so your spine can be straight, that's fantastic. Yeah. All right. And we just got 3 breath cycles here. Nice work. Very gently, you're going to come out of this, turn around. We are laying down for Shavasana. So if you need to cover your body as we make our way to the floor, by all means do that. And as you make your way to the floor, make sure you have any props or things nearby. We're not going directly to Shavasana. There's one more thing, but we are moving that direction. When you find yourself on your backs, there we go. The first thing I want you to do is we're gonna bend our knees and put our feet on the floor. Gesundheit. Gesundheit. And then I want you to put your hands underneath your butts and slide your butt flesh away from you and then put your butt back down. So your butt flesh goes from away from your head. And then go ahead and extend your right leg long beneath you and hug your left knee into your chest. So yeah. So right leg is long beneath you, left knee is into your chest. So other left knee. No. Well, we need those head doctors. And then some of you are going to pay attention to that right leg. Make sure it's really straight and strong. And you're pushing the back of the right calf and the back of the right hamstring into the floor. And then you might bring your hands to the back of your left thigh. And some of you will stay heavily as a clam there, kicking your left thigh into your left hand. So hands come to the back of the left thigh. There we go. And you kick and you might stay there. Some of you might reach that left foot up towards the sky. And this is that point where I think I said at the beginning of the class, maybe you might want that strap. But we're just trying to find a 90-degree angle between our hip and our thigh that's lifted, and then our thigh that's lifted and our thigh that's down. And so you're just finding that. So you're pushing down into that right long leg. You're pushing up into that left long hip, and you're breathing for dear life and saying, hello. We're softening our face. Yes, we are. And then you're seeing how that feels. And you've got about 3 to 5 more breath cycles here, depending upon how the breath is working in your body. Barbara, see if you can draw that outer left hip away from your left shoulder, just a smidge. There you go. Yeah. And then after you've taken your 3 to 5 breaths, again, I wasn't counting, you will gently bend the knee into the chest. Release the strap if you had it. And then send your left foot down to meet your right foot and take a moment to pause there. If you need to move the butt flesh away from you, do that. And we'll go ahead and try all that on the other side. So go ahead and bend both knees, plant the feet firmly on the floor. Again, see if you want to move that butt flesh, just gives you more contact surface or surface space on the back body. And then this time the left leg will go long beneath you. The right knee will come into your chest. And you'll start by flexing through that left foot, keeping the leg pretty parallel-ish, hugging the right knee into your chest. Yay! Okay. Pull this part back. There we go. And then whole calf down. And then some of you will bring your hands to the back of your right thigh. You'll kick your right thigh into your hands. Your arms will come away from you. You might stay there. Some of you might extend that right leg up. Yeah. Some of you might use your strap, but we're melting the whole back of the left calf, left hamstring into the floor. We're drawing that outer right hip away. And then you're noticing if you're breathing. You're noticing if you're breathing. You just got about 3 to 5 breaths on this side. You're just seeing how that feels, how the body's working. And then at the end of your 3rd or 5th exhalation, And gently bend that knee. Remove the strap and send your right foot forward to meet your left. Now, at this point, you might windshield wiper your feet. You might feel like there's some other final shape that you would like to take before you make your way to your final resting pose. And so I'd like you to check in with your body and see what feels appropriate for you. And you'll know really based upon your breath. Some of you might be straight up ready to go to Shavasana. Some of you might want to do a happy baby or some supine twist. Some of you might want Supta Baddha Konasana, but you notice what's calling to you and then you heed the call. And then as you feel ready, you will make your way to your final resting shape. I do encourage you to take the first few breaths and first few moments to fidget around in whatever way feels good to you, just like we did at the very beginning of our practice, so that you know that you are in a position that you can be still. And when you find that you've fidgeted and you've wiggled and the body feels like it can relax, you'll start by taking a big exhale out of your mouth. And then you'll take a big breath in. And then another big breath out. And you'll do two more just like that. Well, in every inhalation, you create a little bit more space. Every exhalation, you allow more of the exhale or more of the breath to leave. And then you'll just allow yourself to fall into the weight of gravity, fall into the support that is always around you. And I'll leave you here with your breath for a few more moments and a few more breaths. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, take a moment to check in. If there's any part of you longing to linger here, by all means, please stay here for a few more moments or a few more breaths. When you are ready, allow small, gentle movement to re-enter into your physical form. Those in stillness, stay as long as you'd like. Those in movement will start to make your way to one of your sides. When you find yourself on a side, just take a few moments to breathe there, or rather take a few breaths there. And then you'll gently start to roll your chest more towards the floor. Press into your top hand and draw yourself to a tall and comfortable seat. When you do find yourself vertical, I do encourage you to elevate your bum on a block or a blanket. And similar to how we started, if you need to fidget in any way to find stillness, please do that. Today we'll start by turning both palms to face the sky. Tuck your left index finger into the base of your left thumb. Tuck your index and middle finger of the right hand in towards the right heel of the hand. Draw your right hand in front of your face. Rest the right thumb on the right nostril, the ring finger, pinky finger on the left nostril. If you want to keep your left palm up, you can, or you can turn it down. Gently exhale all the breath from your mouth. Close your right nostril and inhale just through your left. Top of your inhalation, close your left, and then exhale out through the right. When you need to, draw the breath back in through the right. And then top of your inhalation, close the right and exhale out through the left. You'll continue on your own. As you alternate the breath, I encourage you to try to lengthen the breath so it's equal. So the inhale and the exhale are the same length. You sit tall through your spine. Yep. You soften any tension around the shoulders or the mouth. And you'll just continue on your own for a few more moments. Again, focusing on just keeping the spine long and the breath even. Finish the step you're on, and then the next time you exhale just through the left nostril, you'll lower your right hand. Let the right hand and the left hand match. Get tall through the spine and just notice how you feel. It's the simple practices that sometimes can have the most profound impact. And as we finish this year and we start to go in towards the next year, I invite you to notice where that might be true with you. with your family, with your relationships, your jobs, and simple practices that have a profound impact. We'll go ahead and complete our practice with a collective breath, followed by a collective Om. Bring your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Really press the palms into each other equally. Receive the weight of the thumbs into the sternum equally, and then press the sternum back up. Gently exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. Draw your thumbs to your third eye. May our thoughts be clear. Draw your thumbs to your lips. May our words be kind. And draw your thumbs to your heart center. May our hearts be open. The light, the breath, they honor and salute the light and the breath within each of you. Namaste.